All right, guys, welcome back. Hey, this is all about the solo to Nothing But a Good Time from Poison, featuring guitar player CC Deville. Now, the title of this video, Does CC Deville Stink as a Guitar Player, is sort of tongue-in-cheek, but here's the deal. And even today, you'll hear people saying things like that he sucks, or that he's, compared to the other 80s greats, he was terrible. During the day, because I lived through all these years of the 80s and stuff and played guitar, and it's true that we, as a whole, in general, mostly thought that CC Deville was a subpar guitar player in terms of, the Joe Satriani's, the Yngwie Malmsteens, the Paul Gilberts, even like bands that, didn't have necessarily like a guitar hero, but still had good players. CC Deville was looked upon kind of like Mr. Generic, or even worse than that, just like he didn't have the chops that the other guys did. And so because of that, people just kind of wrote him off as a guitar player. Now, a lot of people still liked Poison as a band because they had fun songs, and a lot of people hated him because of the image. They basically looked like chicks on their first couple albums. So there's a lot of people that can't stand the whole glam metal thing, and then there's some who can tolerate it a little bit, and there's some who absolutely love it. So for me, I loved bands like Motley Crue and Def Leppard, and then when the Poison kind of thing started to hit, where it was just heavy makeup, and at least Motley Crue, shout out the Devil, they look tough, they look mean. Poison came out, man, they look like they just came from the beauty shop. So they and that was obviously, that was purposeful, that was their image. All that to say, they sort of got their musicianship and songwriting took a back seat to the image in a lot of people's minds. Okay, so don't want to keep going on that rant. That's a whole nother video for those kind of bands. But let me just say this. How many ever years later this is? 35 maybe? This album came out in 1988. Open Up and Say Ah. I don't sit around and listen to Poison every day, but I really have grown to appreciate the band. I mean, I think they write good songs, catchy songs. They're fun. They're a fun band. Occasionally they'll write a great ballad, like Every Rose Has Its Thorn, Something to Believe In, something like that. You can argue whether you think those are great or not, but they certainly have become staples, in radio rock and things like that. So, but now regarding CC Deville, this solo is no joke, okay? Yeah, it might not be Icarus Dream Suite by Yngwie or Technical Difficulties by Paul Gilbert. It's not at that level, but there's some tough stuff in here, guys. And so, kudos to CC. I mean, this solo alone should have pretty much shut everybody up in terms of, hey, this guy sucks, because he definitely didn't suck to play this solo, okay? And there's some really good stuff also on other tunes on Open Up and Say Ah. Now, the first album, Look What the Cat Dragged In, I think his playing was a little bit less developed, and I think that's where a lot of the disparaging comments kind of started from, was sort of that early Poison stuff, which was, you know, I mean, it was just basic playing, basic pentatonic playing. And this solo here, now he's stretching out a bit. He's using some 3-note per string shapes. There's some really fast stuff going on. So I think, my opinion is that CC I mean, he's still around, is a very competent player, and I would say he's a good player. You know, I haven't seen him live, so I can't attest to how he is live. But based on this alone, I would say, man, we should get off CC's back a little bit. Okay, so here's the good news, guys. This is a really fun solo, and it's accessible to intermediate players, and even if you're not quite there yet, you'll still learn some cool licks that you can work up to speed. So for you advanced guys, this will be still a good lesson in how to put together a solo using sort of a Mixolydian feel, so like kind of a major pentatonic Mixolydian vibe here. The whole riff is based around that feel, which is, to me, Mixolydian's always had that summer good time kind of vibe to it, and this song definitely has that. So, you know, you may not be used to kind of mixing major and minor pentatonic. There's some good stuff about that in here. So that's my introduction, my little soapbox there on CC Deville. Let's get to the lesson in a sec. Before we do, make sure and check down below for the tab, and I also have a free sweep picking guide for you guys. I don't think CC ever did sweep picking, but in case CC wants to learn sweep picking, he can pick that up as well. Alright, so make sure and check that stuff out. I'm tuned down a half step for this lesson as Poison tunes down, so if you want to play along you'll need to tune your guitar down a half step, so you're in E flat standard. Okay, so the whole solo is played in the key of A. Like I said, we're down a half step in the key of A. Okay, those are your chords. You've got A, it's basically A major, G, D major, G major, D major, back to A major. So you got 4 major chords there, right? And you're soloing over top of this. So the thing that separates this from A major, which would be A Ionian, is the use of this G chord here, which in A Ionian would have a G sharp instead of a G. So this tells you a whole step back from the root major chord. If you're in a major key, A to G, that signifies you're probably in Mixolydian. So you got this G chord. So A Mixolydian. Okay, so here's the Mixolydian scale for you guys, just so you have it under your belt. And this shape is actually in part of the solo as well. Okay, so it's 5-7-9, 5-7-9, 5-7-9 on the lowest 3 strings, 6-7-9 on the G, 7-8-10 on the B, and then 7-9-10 on the high. Right, kind of has that happy summertime vibe, but doesn't sound too triumphant like the major scale would. So what usually happens is you get some some major pentatonic stuff that usually people play over this. Kind of gives it a country feel, and there's some of that in here as well. But let's just get right to it here, and I'll let you kind of do the analysis, and you can kind of figure out like where's he kind of leaning into that major pentatonic, what's the modal parts, and I'll I'll talk about a little bit of that too as we go along here. But mainly I just want to show you the notes so you can get to work. Alright, so here we go. So we're going to bend up 22. And then release it. So we're going, let's see, that's 4. Five times on that, and then release it down to 17 on the high E. Okay, then we're going to play this. A little sequence there. So it's 20 on the B, 17, 19 high E. Pull that off. Back to 17 on the high E. And then back to 20, 19 on the B. And then 17 high E. 20, 19, 17 on the B. Hopefully you can hear the pattern here. And we're going to go 20B, 19B, 17B, and then 19G. Now we're going to do this, change the pattern up slightly, 17 on the B, and then 19G, 18G, 16G, back to 18G. Okay, so you end on 18 on the G string, which is the major third in the key of A, so it kind of fits right over that A major chord. So you get, and notice where I kind of put the pull-offs to sort of smooth it out. And those will be on the tab, so you can check that out. Okay. Okay, now we have this. We're going to go to the A major pentatonic position. So I'm at the 14th fret. It'd be like F sharp minor pentatonic, but we're playing it from A to A. But right here, what the lick is you have a bar. You're going to kind of dip the bar and bend 16 up a half step. And then as you're bending 16 up a half step, you release the bar. And then play 14 on the G. So 16G to 14G without the bar. It would just sound like that. With the bar, you're going to dip into that 14 as well. Now, the next thing is to bend 15 up a whole step and do the same thing where you dip the bar. And then we're going to play 17 on the G. Okay, and then we're going to do this little pull-off lick. There's that major third again. Okay, so this lick is 19 pull-off to 17. 19. Now we're in the minor pentatonic scale, notice that. So we went from major pentatonic. That's actually a minor third there. So it's 19 pull off to 17 on the D, 19G, I'm sorry, 19A, and then 17 on the G string. Do that, let's see, 3 times. And on the third time, hammer on from 17 to 18. Okay, now the fast part, actually one of the fast parts, is the 3-note per string scale thing. Now here we're going to play all hammer-ons except for the first note. I'm going to pick the first note, hammer on the second two, and it's 5-7-9. 5-7-9 on the low E, 5-7-9 on the A, 5-7-9 D, 6-7-9 G. Then we're going to quickly change positions and play. This is also out of the A Mixolydian scale, but it's a D major shape. These scales are related. So we're going to do 10-12-14, low E, 10-12-14, 11-12-14, 11-12-14. Okay, so if I put those together kind of at a medium tempo, you get this. Okay, so it's not so easy to make these transitions here, especially at a high speed. Okay, and to make matters even more difficult, we're going right from here right into that lick. So if you watch my hand on the demo, it kind of flattens out. It kind of contracts. So I have these big spreads here, and then it's got to contract as I move up to this higher position here. So we're going to go right from that last part of the 3-note per string run right into the 17th fret on the G string, and we're going to do this little bluesy major and minor pentatonic lick. So it goes from the minor third to the major third, and then jumps to the high E string. So we're on the G string, we play 17-18 with a hammer on, and then 17 on the high E, 17-18 G, and then 17 on the B. So back to the first one, 17-18, and then 17 on the high E. Back to the B string. And the last one is just 17-18 G, and then 19. All right, so now for me it works to up pick. You down pick on the G and up pick on the high E, and then do the same for the B with an up pick. You might need to roll your finger a little bit so that you don't get the strings ringing together. It's really tough to do at the speed, especially when you just came off of that lick. But you can also apply a little palm muting here if you want. Okay, and then we have this little lick. Okay, so here we're playing 15-14 in that A major pentatonic position, and then 16-14 on the G. So 15-14 B, I'm pulling that off, 16-14 G, and then 17-15-14 B, 16 G. And we're going to bend up 17 twice, and then release it, and then give it some heavy vibrato there. So that lick. Alright, so let me play this kind of at a slow tempo coming off the scale run. Okay, now the final couple licks here. I'm gonna play that lick 4 times. Bend up 19 on the G, 17 high E, and pull off 20 to 17 on the B. Do that 4 times. And then we're gonna try to speed this last part up here and play fast where it bends up 19 on the G. But we're playing 17, 20, 17 on the B. And it kind of accelerates, so it doesn't stay right on the grid like this line. kind of speeds up there at the end. So just work on that. Try to get it as fast as you can. It's okay if it's a little, I hate saying this, but a little sloppy. It's more about the attitude. It's a little sloppy on the recording. And it's more about the attitude and just squeezing this last little bit out. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so. And then we're going to do this at the end. And this is just 20, 19, 17, 19, 17. We're going to do that across the top 3 strings. So starting with the high E. And then pull off from 19 to 17 on the D. Solo ends with a big bend from 20 on the B string. Up a whole step. Alright, with some vibrato. Now this lick here, I play mostly legato. Pick the first note, pull off down to 17, and then pick the next note. I think that's how CC did it. You could try picking more of it if you want, or just do all legato there, except for the first note maybe. And there you go. So, and that's kind of mixing Dorian and the blues scale there at the end. So he's really kind of got this Mixolydian major pentatonic, a little bit of minor pentatonic, and a little bit of Dorian scale in there as well. So it all fits great. Alright guys, so there's the solo. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a newfound respect for CC Deville if you didn't already. I'll probably do some more Poison stuff in the future, either solo or possibly some riffs. Never covered any of their riffs before, and they've got some really cool riffs, including this one. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure and grab the tab down below, as well as free sweep picking guide. The backing track for this, I'm probably going to add to my Patreon page, which I'm in the process of getting that set up. So if you're wondering, well, where's the backing track? This will be available at a small price to you in the near future. So anyway, hope you enjoy. Talk to you soon, and rock on.